Our top story tonight, the ACLU of Iowa, along with Planned Parenthood of the Heartland and the Emma Goldman Clinic in Iowa City, have filed a lawsuit to block a new Iowa law, or bill rather, to restrict abortions. State lawmakers held a special session which lasted all day Tuesday. Right now, abortion is legal for up to 20 weeks of pregnancy. Once Governor Reynolds signs the bill, abortions would be illegal when the baby's heartbeat is detected, which is around 6 weeks. There are some exceptions, but the ACLU of Iowa believes the vast majority of women in the state will be unable to access abortion.
We're seeking to block this ban because we know that every day that the law is in effect, Iowans will face life-threatening barriers to getting desperately needed medical care, just as we've seen in other states with similar bans.
Now, in its lawsuit, the ACLU claims the bill violates Iowans' constitutional rights to an abortion and the state's constitution.
The bill passed last night is almost identical to one passed in 2018, but one difference is just how quickly the law takes effect once Governor Kim Reynolds signs it. News 8's Jenna Webster spoke to a legal expert who says the law is unclear and its immediacy poses questions on how it will be enforced.
The bill, having received the constitutional majority, is declared to have passed the Senate and the title was agreed to.
After both the Iowa House and Senate passed the bill banning most abortions after roughly 6 weeks of pregnancy, the question that remains is, weren't we just here 5 years ago?
They repassed a bill that they had passed in 2018.
The 2018 law that also banned most abortions in Iowa was found unconstitutional a year later based on rulings by the U.S. and state Supreme Courts that affirmed a woman's fundamental right to an abortion. But Governor Reynolds and the state never appealed that decision. It wasn't until last year, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, Governor Reynolds sought to reinstate the 2018 law. But the state Supreme Court deadlocked last month without ruling on the merits of an abortion ban, leaving the law permanently blocked.
The Supreme Court split and the lower court was, you can't reopen it. Then they just wanted to pass it again because then it won't be stayed, and they think it'll put it in a better procedural posture for the courts.
Sally Frank is a law professor at Drake University.
What's also very unusual is that the law shall go into effect immediately upon signing. Even the 2018 law said 90 days. This one is immediately.
The immediacy, she says, means it gives the Board of Medicine no time to set up rules for how it will be enforced.
So there are no rules or regulations or explanations as to what it is. It clearly says that women will not be prosecuted and not have civil penalties. It doesn't say anything about doctors.
She also says the statutes of the law are unclear when it comes to exemptions.
If there's an exception for the life of the woman in a medical emergency, does that mean that you think, she could die within a week if it's not done? Or does that mean she could die within less than an hour if it's not done?
When it comes to legal challenges of the law, such as the one filed Wednesday by Planned Parenthood of the Heartland, the Emma Goldman Clinic, and the ACLU of Iowa, it will all depend on what standard of review the courts decide to use.
Does this regulation put too much of a burden on somebody who wants to have an abortion before viability? That's, if the test is undue burden, it's obvious this law is out because a ban clearly puts a burden. If there is no constitutional right, then rational basis is the test. And essentially under rational basis, if anyone can come up with any reason that sounds rational for a regulation, it will be upheld.
Now, as far as a precedent this law could set for other states' abortion bans, Frank says all the states are watching each other, and this could be a first step toward a more extreme bill in Iowa. Linda?
All right, thanks, Jenna. Back in 2021, Iowa lawmakers approved an amendment to the Iowa Constitution to say it doesn't protect abortion rights or require public funding of abortion. If the House and Senate approve that same language again, the amendment can go on the ballot in 2024 for Iowa voters to decide.